Yo, if anyone does not masturbate, I encourage them to continue to refrain from such practice. But most men who masturbate may be unable to refrain. I started masturbating many years before puberty. Then I think I heard it was sinful and bad, don't remember from where, so I completely stopped for years. But when puberty hit, and it hit hard, I started up again. I then felt it was too hard to abstain. Subsequently, several times over the years, I made strong attempts to stop due to religious reasons, but the longest I ever went was 12 days. The reason that masturbation was historically considered shameful and bad was because it was considered a sign of weakness, in that the male was assumed to lack the masculine drive to acquire a female and to lack the virility to have children. It was also considered a waste of masculine energy and something that likely stood in the way of the responsibility to produce more children for the tribe. For example, the only Bible passage that even hints at masturbation, Genesis 38, 9 to 10, where Onan denied his dead brother's wife a child by practicing coitus interruptus. As far as wasting masculine energy, that has been disproven. Numerous athletes masturbated right before an Olympic event, yet went on to win a gold medal. And if a healthy young man is not regularly having sex with a partner and does not masturbate, his seed will be wasted anyway through nocturnal emissions. As far as any physical or mental harm, that was disproven long ago. Historically, the average man could buy a young woman from her parents and coerce her to have sex every night, thereby easily sidestepping masturbation through that release. But since women are now in power, many men cannot obtain a wife because all women reject certain personality types. As for men who do obtain a wife, few have sex every night. The average is only twice a week, cutting off that outlet the other 5 days. Some wives eventually choose to never have sex. The men tolerate that, since if their wives divorce them, they would be robbed blind through expensive alimony payments. Regardless, Americans now marry much later. So do not let anyone lay a guilt trip on you over masturbation, regardless of the frequency, or make you feel inferior. Men who do that are probably trapped in a rotten marriage, or are stuck with bratty children, or are suffering from having to pay child support and or alimony. As for religious leaders who lay a guilt trip on you over masturbation, their ranks had better be completely free of sexual scandals involving underage persons, homosexual behavior, adultery, and so forth before they dare point a finger at anyone else. Some online SA, Sexaholics Anonymous groups certainly accept having sex with your spouse or significant other as maintaining sexual sobriety, but wrongly classify any masturbation as breaking sexual sobriety along with all other illicit sex. That's stupid and unfair to have the exact same standard for men and women, married and single, and young and old alike, since the biology and life circumstances of people varies dramatically. Besides, masturbation can help you sleep. Masturbation can help alleviate panic attacks. And most significantly, masturbation can eliminate or at least help you cut down on all other behaviors that are considered to break sexual sobriety. For example, a man thinks about going to patronize a prostitute, but before he goes, he masturbates and ejaculates twice, thereby cleaning his pipes. Now he no longer has the urge and thereby saves himself time, money, and risk of interacting with dangerous people. Another man is about to engage in homosexual behavior, but instead he masturbates and ejaculates, which cleans his pipes. He relieved himself and thereby won't expose himself to the risk of acquiring AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, hepatitis, or other terrible disease that weekend. A third man is waiting near a playground to molest a child, but instead he masturbates in his car, which cleans his pipes and relieves his sexual tension. So he goes home and avoids prison. A fourth man who is free from feeling guilty over masturbation uses it in place of marrying a nasty witch who would drain him of all his money like a vampire. However, Most female masturbators have no excuse, since most women can find a husband and sexual partner whenever they want. And since women's desires for sex are much weaker than men's, many can be fully satisfied with sex toys in place of a live man. So if I was in power, I would largely eliminate the female sex toy market, as it prevents relationships. However, some women are undesirable to men, such as very old women, those with mental conditions such as borderline personality disorder, deformed burn victims, and so forth. I feel that such women should be able to purchase a sex toy from their doctor. Just my opinion. If there are men who still are, regardless, unhappy with their compulsion to masturbate, or who masturbate excessively, there are medications that will reduce your frequency of masturbation and lessen your urge to act out sexually. These drugs are reuptake inhibitors, most commonly fluoxetine, its most well-known brand name being Prozac. They are basically harmless. However, if you have an overwhelming compulsion to engage in extremely dangerous and or highly illegal sexual behaviors, it would behoove you to, in addition, consume drugs classified as testosterone blockers and or estrogens, such as cyproterone and Premarin. In those cases, their side effects would be worth enduring. And again, if you don't masturbate and never watch porn, don't start. That's my recommendation. However, if you likely cannot refrain from such without undue stress or thinking about sex for 5 hours a day or what have you, don't let anybody beat you up over some masturbation and a little porn watching, unless they themselves are a perfect person. Jesus would not, never do those things, but we're not Jesus. Matthew 7, 3-5. Why beholdest thou the wood speck that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the giant log that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me remove the speck out of thine eye, and behold, a log is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the log out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the speck from thy brother's eye. Take care.